Did you know that you can do this on Compound? Other stuff that you can do, such as getting onto this roof, or if you even want to, like getting on this pole. You can even hide down here and then jump back up to take the fights where you want. One little bit of fun parkour tech I have is instead of following people all the way around this wall, you can instead just jump around the corner. When the tables are positioned like this, you can actually just jump off the legs to land on the roof. Now you can't jump that way, but if you come this way and climb this wall, you can make that gap. What most people don't seem to know about this shipping container is that you can just climb up the side of it. In fact, you can do the same here, although it's much harder because there's nothing to wedge against. Like that. And you can use that to flank people who have climbed into here using the normal route, which is this. Most people don't know how to climb this wall, so in order to climb it, what you want to do is crouch, wedge yourself in here, and then uncrouch, jump, S, and W and crouch. One after the other in quick succession. It's a crouching head hitter. If you've ever played JTO, you should be able to know how to do a head hitter. Now, because the physics is weird, I highly suggest you just jump again at the top here to make sure that your center of mass is anchored above the brick, because the physics is quite weird right now. Also, you can jump on this, but there's an invisible bound above you, meaning that you are forced into the crouching position. I wouldn't ever come up here, honestly, because you're just going to get killed. But actually, because of the new physics, maybe you do want to be up here, because as soon as you see them, you can just teleport, but I don't know, you're still easy to kill. Also, you can't come in this gap because there is an invisible bound that stretches up past this roof. I'll show you that in a sec, but you can just jump up there. And of course, you can do this. Just making sure to not try and walk this way, because there's an invisible bound here where the shadow is. But you can come up here, and from up here, you can come around, jump, try and line up your crosshair middle of the woods so you don't, like, flip out like this, like I'm pressing spacebar right now. It's not working. You want to make sure you're in the middle of there, and you're up. For a lot of these jumps, you want to make sure you do a crouch jump. In Traitor Town, that means pressing spacebar and crouch on pretty much the same frame, but like spacebar, then crouch. So spacebar, and then one frame later, crouch. Which sounds like it's complicated, but in reality, just press them at the same time. Just make sure you're pressing crouch after. If you press crouch before, you'll know you failed it because you won't jump. You'll just be stuck in the crouching animation. One thing you can do is just jump over here. That's pretty nice. You can walk all the way around this. You can even walk on this, but you can't walk on that wire. However, you can stand on this electrical box. So this can be a little headshot angle. Keep in mind though that your arm probably will stick through the wall, so I don't think this is the strongest spot to play from. One thing people don't realize is that this room exists. Most people ignore this room. This is one of the strongest entry points in the map because you can kill a lot of people and then come through here, and most people won't realize that it was you that did the damage. Also, it gives you the opportunity to use probably one of the strongest spots in the game. That. Now, to do this parkour, it's a little finicky. You'll just want to crouch onto it, get nice and high, and then it's another head hitter, like before, where you press S and then W. You sort of crouch, uncrouch spacebar back. You're sort of doing a crescent moon shape. It's very weird, it's very awkward, but you'll get used to it because it's something that you do a lot in this game. One parkour route that I don't see mentioned is that you can just come through here like that. And in fact, you can go the opposite way by climbing up this, doing another head hitter, and then coming back the other way. And if you fall off, don't worry, you can climb on top of this pole, and then crouch jump onto there. This is one of the hardest ones in the game. I don't know if it's still doable. It is. Okay, but can I do this part? I can. I have not been able to hit that. I am not going to try and re-record that clip. That is probably one of the hardest jumps in the entire map, I'm going to be honest. Probably one of the most useful jumps. Used to be this. There used to be a deagle here. I don't know why it's removed. You can use this and just kind of come around and walk on that trim. One little trick you can do is you can climb on the door handle. There we go. You can climb up here, come around here and do all that. Alternatively, now when you're coming this way, these protruding bricks will push you off, so I honestly just jump around them. But you can just come in through here. Just keep in mind you are susceptible to that explosive barrel. By the way, this corner is really dark and most people never clear it. They'll like walk through and they'll not even notice. So that could be a fun spot to play in. You just come up here, wedge in. You can plant a C4 down here, but I don't know why you'd want to. Nobody ever really plays around in this area, but that is an option. If you're feeling saucy, you can use this explosive barrel to climb in through this window. One thing you can do that I didn't mention is that when you're on here, you can then jump on this. Now this brick here has an invisible wall. This metal generator does not. But this brick here doesn't have an invisible wall. And in fact, the invisible wall protrudes a little bit, as you can see. So this whole area is free to play in. And in fact, like that other area, there's a little spot you can get in where you can just wedge yourself up here. Now this is quite well known, but you can just jump up here like that. And that's very useful. And of course, another way you can make your way up is by climbing this wall of rubble. But what most people don't know is that you can do the same over here. Like that. One thing you can do here is you can actually jump around. And you can get into this little nook. So you can kind of just stand up here if you feel like it. You can also come up here and just crouch jump on this brick to peek above the tree. One thing people don't realize you can do is you can just stand up here like this. The only problem is your arm will be sticking through the wall, so I suggest coming out a little bit. If you want to fight down here, buy a knife and then just sort of stand off from the wall like this and just go blep. That is an option. Now, if you actually move all of these boxes, this wood is just floating on nothing. This isn't useful, I just thought I'd tell you about it. And probably the single most useful parkour spot in this entire map has to go to that. Because you can climb up and make your whole way around this way, or you can literally go from down here and in a couple of seconds you can come up, you can jump here, and now you're on the roof. From the side of the map where the roof shouldn't even be accessible from. And this roof is the same roof that has that invisible brick. As you can see, I can't walk in this area, and it extends out past towards that shadow. One option that you can do to try and shoot towards bus is you can actually jump over here. Now there is invisible walls, so don't think about it, but you can get a weird angle on to anybody over there. And if you get shot back at, you can just fall down and you're safe. I'd like to mention that you can just sort of float on this wall up here. And you can just sort of float above this doorway. This is another thing you can do, especially with a Mach 11. In fact, you can use this to glide over here and then plant a C4. Now, one more parkour spot that is available to everyone is this one. Wait a minute, hold up. Sorry. They've put grenades inside of the bound because they didn't realize there was a bound here. And last but not least, the holy grail of compound skips. This is unbelievably hard to pull off, but if you can do it, you are officially a parkour master. Anyways, so that's compound. Now before I go, I want to show you compound in Traitor Town 2, because I have a few things that I want to point out. Alright, welcome to Traitor Town 2. Now one thing you'll notice is that the movement is quite different. Everything is physically simulated now. So the hitbox of your player is no longer tied to Roblox, it is now entirely programmed. So Hoonty has full control over the hitbox. And a lot of the parkour tech that I've already shown you today still works. Some of them won't. For example, anything involving climbing really sharp slopes tends to not work. But stuff like this is actually easier now, because this is considered a climbable slope. So that is much easier. That is also much easier. Things like this are much easier because you don't bug out. Traitor Town 2 has a much more solid collision detection system. So I am just completely fine on this. It feels like a normal video game for once. This invisible bound here is just gone for some reason, but something I'd like to point out is that I haven't been able to do this jump. I don't think it's possible in Traitor Town 2. I might be wrong. I'm not used to the new physics just yet. One feature of the new physics is that you can actually jump whilst crouching, which was not possible before. Also, you're allowed to come in here, which is a new... This is new. This has never been done. You can even drop down there. That could be fun. Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't think... So you can make that jump. But I don't think you can make this jump. Maybe you have to strafe it. No, I don't think that's possible. Let's see if this impossible jump is doable. I don't think so. I think any jump that involved any kind of height just isn't doable anymore. Yeah, this high jump, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Hopefully this high jump's still doable. I'm pretty sure it will be. Yeah. So this high jump's dependent on you standing exactly on the highest point of this brick. And then I don't know how to explain it, but it's sort of like a backup. Because I believe, if I look ahead, this brick slopes down. So you want to jump like that to climb it. And that's still, yeah, you can still do that. Now I know prop jumping has been affected in this version. Now it just kind of damages you. Not sure why it does that. This looks so doable. It annoys me that this isn't doable in Traitor Town 2. Traitor Town 2, this should be even easier. Yeah, I'm just walking on solid ground. Oh, C4's not programmed in. Okay. This is definitely possible. It's not even a particularly hard jump, it's just a bit fiddly. That jump's doable. In fact, I feel like that jump's easier, because you have a bit of momentum coming into it. That jump's doable, that jump's doable. Let's find out if these jumps are doable. Because I know you can come up here, and I know you can make that, but can you make this? Because this is the other hardest jump in Compound. And I feel like this jump won't work, because it relied a lot on... This is a jump I've been doing for years, but I've never pulled it off in a round where it actually made sense. I always just ended up going round. Or going up there. That's so much easier to climb. Like, this is more for the swag than anything. Yeah, I don't think this is... Let's try the strafe. Okay. So you can strafe onto that tiny brick there. And because of how good the new collision box is, because there's like a box around, or a cylinder around me, it's so easy to like just grab onto small ledges. So I feel like parkour in Traitor Town 2 is actually going to be much better. But anything that's high jump related, it just doesn't look like I can hit it. Crouch jump or a space crouch? Nah, neither. Oh well, that's unfortunate. I'm not too upset because in Traitor Town 2 you can do this. And you can do this. It doesn't work quite the same like it does in Counter-Strike. It's actually quite weird if you're used to Counter-Strike surfing because you have complete air control. If I press in a direction, I'll just move in that direction. But once you get used to it, it's genuinely kind of fun. Oh, I beansed it. Oh well. But yeah, if you want to play Traitor Town 2, just load it up. You should be able to make your own private server, and that will allow you to press F1 to open the admin panel. It allows you to load any of these maps, any of these controls. What map's this? Yeah, so the new game engine feels quite tight, honestly. I know this video is supposed to be about parkour, but I just really wanted to show you something real quick. Let me find... perfect. Yeah, so you can do this now. Oh, it's paused. Yeah, you can do this now. And I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, my new favorite feature is this. Ta-da! But yeah, let me know if you'd like me to do a breakdown of some of the parkour spots I know on other maps. Compound probably has my most parkour knowledge, but if you want any more maps, please comment what map you'd like to see me cover next.